Welcome back to our study in the book of Colossians. We're in chapter 2 and we're going verse by verse. And in our last session, we talked about the salvation through the cross of Christ and that victory that he won and how he canceled the arrest warrant, shall we say, that was out for us because we are sinners, because we are reprobate. When we're born into sin, we just continue to sin until we come into a righteous relationship with God through his son, Jesus Christ, who paid the price for our sins on the cross. And it talks a little bit about that and what the end result of that is from a spiritual dynamic. So let's go back and read verse 14 and then go into verse 15. Having canceled the certificate of debt consisting of decrees against us, which was hostile to us, and he has taken it out of the way, having nailed it to the cross. When he had disarmed the rulers and authorities, he made a public display of them, having triumphed over them through him. Now, unless you understand the culture that he's talking about and the culture that Paul lives in, this can be a little confusing. It says he disarmed the rulers and authorities. That's an interesting phrase, disarmed. In other words, he made them harmless. And what the cross of Christ does when we understand that our sins are paid for by the blood that was shed on that cross by Jesus Christ, and that through his resurrection from the mortal dead, we have life eternal, not just life for a while, but life eternal. That disarms, that nullifies, that brings to a screeching halt, if I can use those words, the power of the enemy, because there's nothing he can do about that as long as we hold true to that promise. And this is a promise of salvation for all who believe in what Jesus Christ did in the shedding of his blood and in the resurrection of his mortal body. So it says he disarmed the powers and authorities, the rulers, and he made a public display of them. I like this because you have to be in the Roman Empire to know what this is. Literally, when you would conquer an enemy's general, an enemy's leader, you didn't just walk them through town. You either did one of two or three things. One of those was you would decapitate your enemy's leader, put their head on a post and hold it high as you paraded through your own city in victory. And what that said is, this guy has no arms and legs anymore. He can't do anything to us anymore. We are victorious. Also said he's dead, but we can assume that. The other thing they would do is strip a person naked and drag them through town on ropes behind their horses. And of course, eventually they would die and they would be mutilated. Their blood would be scattered through the city as a sign that they were weak and they could not defend themselves anymore. This was another thing in the Roman Empire. Now we all have a tendency to say, well, that's just gruesome. Well, Paul is taking what these people see regularly in their own cities in the Roman Empire and illustrating the truth of the gospel and the victory we have in Jesus Christ over our enemies if we'll receive it, accept it, and then let it become a reality in our life. We don't have to live in sin. Our arrest warrant has been canceled in Jesus Christ dying on the cross. Do we believe that? Do we live like that? Those are the real questions. We'll pick up there the next time.